One. Well, hello, and look who's joining us. Michael Gomoll. Oh my gosh, Michael with Joey's Song, the founder of this incredible concert and fundraiser, and of course, Joey's dad. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm great, Terry. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for asking. And I'm just going to dive into Joey's Song. It's coming up fast for you now in 2022, which sounds like it's a long ways away, but it's really not, Michael. What can we expect? When is it? And should we get our tickets right now?
Yes and yes. You can expect a lot. January 8th, 2022 at the Sylvie. So we're moving up from the Barrymore, which was such a wonderful home for us for all of those years, but we've kind of outgrown it, which is a great problem to have. So we're going to be having our next benefit January 8th, 2022 at the Sylvie Theater. It'll be a lot like previous shows, but probably a little bit bigger around the edges and a little bit bigger on the stage.
Awesome. I'm going to, of course, I will ask you more about that coming up. First, though, for people watching and listening, I want to let them know how this all started. What can you tell me about Joey's Song and the history of it, Michael?
Sure. So the idea actually was brewing back in 2008, 2009. As everybody knows, it's named for my son, Joe. And Joe had a particularly heinous form of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome. And not to get too far ahead of ourselves, we lost Joe in 2010 after a 5-year battle with epilepsy. But even when Joe was still with us, we as a family thought about trying to do something to what we still talk about today with Joey's Song is helping the next family. The prognosis for kids with Dravet's back in the, what do we call them? The aughts, the early aughts, 2005, through 2010 was not very good. It's improved a little bit with some of the medications that have come into the market, but the prognosis wasn't good, but we knew there was going to be other families behind us. The problem was, besides Joe, we had Joe's 2 older siblings, Julia and Sam, and at the time we had 3 kids under the age of 9. One was special needs. We were just trying to make it to bedtime, let alone how are we going to start a charity. But after we lost Joe, after a few months of kind of getting our mental state back to where it needed to be, we kind of enacted a plan that had been in my head for a long time, and that was to start Joey's Song. Joey's Song was originally going to be just recorded music, CDs. For the first few years, we did these CDs, and I kind of dug into my Rolodex back from my days working at Headliners in Madison in the 80s and some musical friends I made along the way. And we put out a bunch of really great CDs with folks like the guys in REM and Roseanne Cash and Crash Test Dummies and the Jayhawks and Freedy and Sam from the Bodines and lots of great folks. The problem was, if you think back in your timing, this was around 2010, 2011, really when the world stopped buying CDs. I mean, I'm being a little dramatic there, but streaming was in full effect, and people weren't even, when you were downloading music, you were downloading the one song you wanted. You weren't down, we had already gotten to that point. And so we didn't have a lot of success with the CDs, but every time we would release one, we would hold a CD release party, and we would make more money off of the live events than we were off of the recording, which to anybody that understands the music business is exactly how the music business has gone, right? Kind of pre-COVID, most of the folks, unless they're the folks we all refer to by one name, like Beyonce or Bruce or Rihanna, right? Those folks are out on the road 250, 260 days a year because the live music is really the revenue source, and the recorded music and the merch table now augments it. And that's a flip from what it was from, 1970 till the digital music era.
Right.
So after a few of these live events, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but a couple things happened. I actually kind of connected the 2 dots and said, maybe we should focus on that. And that's when this Butch Vig fella came back into my life. Back from the 80s. That guy. Garbage did a big show out at the Mallard Stadium with the Flaming Lips. And at that point, Freedy was still living here in town. And Freedy said, come on, let's go out. And Butch and I did the backstage stare at each other for a minute. You were the guy, and kind of connected the dots. And so as we hung out for a little bit, and as I was leaving, Butch said, is there anything I can do? And since I'm not too subtle and never missed an opportunity, I said, yeah, you can come and play my benefit. And that's really where the new kind of the version of Joey's song now that most people know of was born, right? That's when Butch and Duke and Freedy and Jay and Pi and all the folks that everybody knows as the know-it-all boyfriends now serve as our house band. And then we have all of our guests kind of come through. And so we do it all to raise money. To get to the bottom line, while it's a great time and people have a lot of fun, we do it. And what we do with the funds that we raise is we write research grants to the really smart men and women in the lab coats. And I'm going to show my age by doing test tubes and Bunsen burners. I know that that's not how it works anymore, but to give them the money they need to do the research into these devastating pediatric epilepsies that are out there, right? And so I think it's really important at this point that I point out that we are a 100% volunteer organization.
Yes.
So that means there's no paid staff, and that carries through to these musicians. And I don't think a lot of people realize that all of these folks that come, besides the know-it-all boyfriends and all the special guests that I know we'll talk about, come into town to cold, frozen Madison.
Yeah.
Warm homes in Los Angeles and all these places where all these musicians live. And they come and give us 3 and 4 days at for no money, right? What I like to talk about is, for those of you that were at the benefit in 2019, Brian Ray was one of our performers, and Brian's day job is he's Paul McCartney's guitar player. And
he was terrific and such a nice guy.
Such a sweet man. I could tell you Brian Ray stories and we'd fill up your hard drive on but he's a wonderful man. But what I tell people is, I don't know what Sir Paul pays Brian for 4 days and 3 nights, but it's not a beer and 2 ham sandwiches which is what he got from me. And so it's really important that people understand, when you buy your tickets, when you make a donation, other than the costs that we have to do, sometimes we have to rent gear and, there's some cost of physically putting on the event, but nobody's getting paid other than this, the smart people in the lab coats that do it. But that's the heart of these musicians. They give us all of this time. They give it willingly, and we'll do the same kind of schedule this year for the benefit. Folks will start coming in a few days before, and we'll make sure we have plenty of warm hats and mittens for those California.
That's awesome. We talk about music being medicine. And, you wonder if sometimes the musicians look at this as their gift back to trying to help find some cures, especially when we're talking about something like this with your little guy, all those years ago. It's just, I felt that. The only one I've been able to be at in person was in 2019. And you could feel the love and the care in the room by everyone who was there, and in the audience too. What does this do for you? What makes this so special for you, Michael?
Well, I think, Terry, you kind of hit on it. It's that because I literally have no musical talent whatsoever. I could clear out the Sylvia in about 4 notes. It would be name that tune, or
oh gosh.
But these musicians, by definition, an artist is somebody that emotes. There's a calling that they have, whether you're a painter, whether you're a writer, whether you're a singer, whatever your craft may be. There's an innate need in those people to display emotion, right? And when you then take it to a cause like we have, but make it a pediatric cause, right? Something that affects kids. I think the Rubik's Cube, kind of all gets the colors on the same size when you do that. And so I do, for me, and you asked the question, what does this do for me? Seeing that connection that I can help make between these artists and the audience it's important, because it does, they get asked to do a lot of these things, believe me, and I understand that. That's why I don't take offense when somebody says they can't or whatever it might be. But I will tell you that most of the folks that have done it in the past are on board if we need them going forward, and it makes that connection, and it's really great, because I do get to know these guys as human beings and friends, and know the where their heart is on that, and I do think what we do speaks to what they try to do through their art and through their performance, and gives it a way to do it, and as you said with the audience, I get it. I'll never be standing in front of a stage and being able to do the Freddie Mercury AO stuff and have everybody respond. But from what we do, you can feel the love coming back, and you can see it in people's faces. You really can.
Okay. So on that note, let's talk about January.
Yeah.
What can you tell us at this point? I know you always have some last minute surprises, so I'll be bothering you as we move forward to find out what those things are going to be. I know you, but tell us what you can right now. Right. And then let's, after you tell us who's going to be there, let's make sure we give links and cost and all of that good stuff to make sure we get the people there to fill up that Sylvie room.
That's absolutely great. Yep.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, there may be a surprise coming. So we may have to do part 2 of this, even if it's the 2-minute version somewhere.
With you, there always is a surprise. So I'm counting on it.
Yeah. So for those that have never been, let's take a quick second and we talked about Butch and some of the folks from Garbage and the Know-It-All Boyfriends.
Yeah.
So the Know-It-All Boyfriends, which is Butch Vig and Duke Erickson from Garbage, along with Freddie Johnston and Jay and Pie and Corey Chisel and a lot of great Madison and local area musicians.
Yeah.
Are the Know-It-All Boyfriends, and they kind of serve as a house band. And so they then, it's a night of kind of covers. It almost feels like a wedding or a high school dance sometimes, without the slow songs, I should say. There will be no, I don't think we've got Faithfully or any of those slow songs.
Right.
But it's really a night where they serve as a house band and serve up several hours of kind of 60s, 70s, and 80s rock and roll. And so we have lots of special guests that come in and join them during the night. And so this year, we're really fortunate. We've got some amazing folks joining us. And again, I will spare everybody from singing songs, but I will reference, in case folks don't know all of the names of the singers versus the band. So we've got Dave Perner from Soul Asylum.
Ooh.
Phenomenal. Dave's up in Minneapolis and is coming down. And the hardest part, Terry, I'll give you a little behind the curtains look. Our hardest part is, how do we squeeze all of this into a few hours? Because you could play, Soul Asylum won Grammy Awards, right? Runaway Train's a Grammy-winning song, and that's one of like 7 hit records that Dave has. So we've got Dave Perner from Soul Asylum. We've got Chris Collingwood, again, one of our returning folks from Fountains of Wayne. So, and we'll dust off his catalog. We've got Tanya Donnelly and Gail Greenwood from Belly and the Breeders. So wow. Tanya's amazing, just really amazing. We've got Kay Hanley from Letters to Cleo, who just finished about a 3-week tour and going coast to coast. So Kay is going to be with us. We've got our wonderful friends, Miles Nielsen and Kelly Stewart, joining us.
Oh, yay.
So I think this might be their 3rd or 4th one of the shows. They've been stalwarts all along. We've got Laura Jane Grace from Against Me, for our friends that maybe are in a little more of the harder edge kind of proto-punk stuff. So we've got lots of stuff. I would be remiss if I didn't mention somebody that's going to join us a little bit later in our podcast here, which is Sam Gomoll. My son is also going to perform a couple songs as well. But it does not stop there. One of the additions that we've got to the Joey song lineup this year is we're adding a little bit of comedy to it as well.
Oh, so no kidding.
So we're really excited. We've got a couple of co-hosts joining us. One is Charlie Behrens.
Oh, Charlie, Manitowoc Minute.
Yeah, you can't be anywhere in the Midwest on social media without seeing Charlie. So Charlie is threatening to go behind the bar and mix some old fashions for the folks as well. So Charlie will be with us as well as Joel Hodgson from Mystery Science Theater 3000. If you were anywhere in the 90s on Comedy Central, you spent many a night maybe coming back from the bars and turning on MST3K. So Joel's got some of his comedy that he's going to do as well. So we've got a really great lineup of folks, each of which could sell out the Sylvie on their own.
No kidding.
Do stuff for a few hours for us as well. So it'll be a night of covers and comedy and good cheer. And one of the other phrases that we say often is, well, what we do is deadly serious. How we do it is not.
Oh,
it's a fun night. And we make sure that it's a little sloppy in a good way. It's a little fun in a great way, and that everybody loves it. So, so that's our lineup for now.
Whoo! Okay, I'm warm now. I'm fanning myself. Oh, wow, that's hot. Yeah, that is a hot lineup.
It's a great lineup. I'm really, really excited about it.
You should be. Oh, congratulations. And last year, of course, was virtual. Yep. It was wonderful, but there's still nothing like being together in person. And you must be thrilled to be able to have this as an in-person event and show. And I'm just going to call it a wonderful community gathering. And then with all of these artists. Oh,
Yeah, there's some magic, Terry, and this is where I wish everybody could be with us on the days leading up to the
oh, I bet.
and to sound check. Again, we could go on for about an hour of the magic moments I've seen with these talented people in rehearsal and even backstage minutes before the show's about to start, working on a song, going, hey, let's throw this into the set list and let's throw that. And there's just it's magical to watch these talented people do that, and you lose that when you do the remote event, when it especially it wasn't just remote, but it was single people in their homes, as opposed to there was none of that band interaction and none of that free flowing stuff. So
yeah,
just to do that and kind of reignite the community a little bit, and it just
we need it.
it's about uplifting as well. So yeah, I'm real excited.
Okay, so we're talking about Joey's song. How can people find tickets? How can they follow up on what's happening with the event? And of course, aside of getting it from me, from you, follow up on your surprise news.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the best way to do it, because we're all victims of it, is social media, right? Is the best way to stay up on all the news. And Joey's song is JOESSONG, just that, on all the platforms, on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. So if you put that in there, you'll find it. The other way to both get tickets and stay up on stuff is also going to be at www.joeysong.org. For you people watching this, it's over my shoulder.
Oh, look at you. Perfect.
The marketing apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And that's going to be where your link is to also buy tickets as well. So we're really fortunate. We are, I was told there would be no math. We are about four fifths of the way to a sellout right now. So
4/5, that's huge.
Yeah. So
okay.
And so the tickets could be hard to come by as it gets closer to the show. So I would encourage folks not to wait. And maybe, just maybe, when we make a few more announcements, they may be gone. So please come and see what we do. Try to find me when you're there, because I'd love to talk to people and recruit more people into the Joey Song family.
Yes, and I know you do. You are not kidding when you say that. So, okay. So if we need to sell a few more tickets, how about if we bring in our special guest right now?
And you want to come and Terry and I'll keep talking while my son Sam, who's going to be one of the performers, gets plugged in, gets his guitar going.
Excellent. Now, I want to ask you, Michael, wasn't in 2019, was that the first time that Sam actually played and was able to be part of this show?
It wasn't only the first time Sam was able to be a part of the show. It was literally the first time the boy performed. He was 17 years old and performed in public. It was in front of 1,000 folks. For those of you that were there, his debut was singing Beautiful Boy acoustically with 3D accompanying him and dedicating it to his brother Joe. And then, of course, and I tried to, most people for their first performance in public don't have Butch Vig on the drum kit behind them, and Brian Ray to the right playing guitar, and Duke Erickson on bass as they make their rock and roll debut. But it was his first time playing in public, and he had a chance to do that at a tribute to his brother, with some pretty high-powered folks in his backing band. So
yeah, lots of tears after that, but good tears in just a really special way. And now he's had a couple of years and he's mastering his craft. So this is going to be really fun to hear a song from him.
It's fun. Now, he's not going to play one of his originals tonight.
Okay.
But he will be able to play one of his originals. They're already working, Jay and Butch and everybody are working on the set list. And so Sam is going to be able to play.
I love it.
So I'm going to slowly move away and
Sam
will work in front and introduce himself.
Without further ado, there he is.
How are you doing?
Hi, Sam. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's great being here.
Okay, you just take it away.
All right. Just need to make sure that's like
sounds good. Yep, we're gonna do, for the folks at home, we're gonna do a quick little sound check.
Hey, this is reality. This is what happens at shows, and we've been told people love to see this and hear this as it's all happening. So don't even worry about it.
So Sam, why don't you play and sing, and then Terry, let him know if the volume is right. So just
okay.
Yeah.
I think you're ready to rock.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm the boy and you're the phone. And you're darling, all alone. Pushing 40 in the friend zone. You talking then you walk away every day. Oh, we don't think twice about me. Maybe there's a right to doubt me, but if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. Yeah, if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. Oh, I wanna take two, I wanna break through, I wanna know the real thing about you, so I can see you in the new light. Whoa, take a ride out to Malibu. I just wanna sit and look at you, yeah. But would it matter if your friends knew? Who cares what other people say anyway? Oh, we could go far from the end and make a new world together, baby. Oh, if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. Yeah, if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. Oh, I wanna take two, I wanna break through, I wanna know the real thing about you, so I can see you in the new light. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, 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 but if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. So if you give me just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light. Just one night, you're gonna see me in the new light.
Oh, Sam. Yay.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh my gosh. He's so sweet. Oh, and his voice matches his personality and just makes you want to listen.
Well, that's very nice of you hear, and I'm really glad that you said that, Terry.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to see him play. Other people are going to hear this and hear the rest of the lineup, and they're going to want to see this and be part of Joey's song and support it and try to find this cure or more something for beating epilepsy. Give us some of the lowdown again, Michael. Where can people find the information and get to be a part?
Yep. So joeysong.org.
Yep.
Easiest place to do it. All the social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You'd think I'd have it all memorized by now.
It's okay.
We announce all of our stuff there first, but you can figure out what's what. And the most important part of all of it is at joeysong.org is where you can find the ticket link to get your tickets, to come and see the event, to come and see Charlie and Joel do their comedy, to see these Grammy winners and Rock and Roll Hall of Famers and everybody sing and play for you. And I guess the one thing that I didn't mention when we talked about, although I think it's pretty obvious, is even if you're not familiar with all the artists, it's an evening of covers and, jukebox kind of stuff. So nobody's going to get up with their guitar and say, I wrote this 2 days ago about my cat.
Right.
So even if you don't know everybody, you're going to know the songs, you're going to know the music, you're going to be tapping your toe, you're going to be dancing a little bit. And so it's just a fun, uplifting night.
It really is. Thank you so much for all you're doing to make a difference. I know it started with Joey, but I totally understand your whole idea of trying to make sure that other families can get the support and the help they need. And wow, it's so important, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Thanks to everybody out there listening as well. I hope you can make it to the show.
Absolutely. Again, Michael Gomoll, and he is the founder of Joey Song, joeysong.org for everything you want to learn and to get those tickets that are flying right off of that website right now. Thank you so much, Michael. It's so good to see you.
Thank you, Terry. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you soon for real.
For real, unbelievable.
I know. Bye-bye.
Bye.